Okay, so here's the ego story, and also I think it's going to get into thinking, the whole thing about thinking and how to work with thinking. When I was in Canada, this is like about 2000. When was that? About 2007 through 2010. I was going through another kind of a different kind of dark night of soul. It was about place. It was about having no place to go to, and I was traveling around I had a car, so I guess my sense of place was either a car or wherever I got out of the car I was at. And sometimes it was for friends, sometimes it was just at a place that I just didn't know much about, searching for a place to sleep, kind of like homeless. Except I did have some resources, but I wasn't going to motels or things like that because I had no sense of place. I couldn't see myself sitting in it, going to a place. I just had no vision of that. Could not make it happen. But in that process, when I was going through it, every time I've gone through that, and I spoke of this earlier on one of the clips before this, that I was suffering through going through that place, that's loss of place. And it was painful. And I was just getting ready to leave. It was about 6 months from being removed from Canada, leaving Canada. The ministry I was up there had done what it was needed to do with me, and then it kind of spit me out, which is typical. And so I came out of it, but I was staying in this kind of like a halfway house with these friends down in this woman I knew that she had turned her basement over, like not as a professional halfway house, but as just a place for friends she had who were just struggling through stuff, and I was really struggling. And I'd be down there, and I would in the basement, and it was pretty hard. But I was just doing what I needed to do, and one morning I went up, and she said to me, "What are you saying every morning?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "You're saying something every morning, over and over and over. You're like real strong. You're saying it. I can hear it, but I don't hear what you're saying. But you do it every morning." And I'm talking to her, and I'm going, her name was Kim. I said, "No, Kim, I can't be. And that's not, really?" And she said, "Yeah, listen to yourself." So I went, okay. So I'm down there, a few more days, and I don't know how long it takes me. It takes me maybe a week. And all of a sudden I'm in the shower, and I'm scrubbing myself up, and I hear it. It's like a nervous tick that's coming out of me really loud that I didn't even hear. I mean, it wasn't soft, it was loud. And I kept going as I'm scrubbing it, I'm going like, I don't know. 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 And I told her, I said, you're right. And eventually I moved out and went across back in the United States, and I was traveling around with no place to go. But at some point it hit me that what had happened was that I had been saying that because inside my ego had been screaming at me all the time. It was screaming, going because I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know how much money I'd have. I didn't, all those questions, and I had no plan. And I mean, none, other than I was leaving Canada, and I didn't even know where I would go. And it was like the ego was going well, what are you going to do? 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 And because it kept doing it, the only thing I could say was what I was saying. That was the only thing I could say, which was, I don't know. 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 I couldn't say, well, I'll get myself a job, or I'll go stay with this person, because I didn't even know where I was going to go when I crossed over the border. I had no idea. Not only that, I'm not even sure I was, I knew I probably had to cross the border, but I didn't have a plan for it. At any rate, so that, I realized that's what was going on. And then as I'm traveling around months later, the ego comes up to me in a moment in another way. And this all these things that when I describe these stories, like with the ego talking or spirit talking to me, it's all in an instant. It's like it all comes together as a play that I see in a moment. It isn't but I describe it as a long kind of discussion thing. And it's like my ego comes up to me as a teenager, and which I've never seen before, and it comes up softly and slowly, and it's like it's coming up to me saying, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm going, "Sure." I'm like, what is my ego doing this? And it says, you can't do any of this stuff, can you? Actually, it said, you can't do this, can you? That's exactly what it said. You can't do this. And I knew what it meant. I said, what it was saying was, you can't do anything about what I'm telling you. And I said, no, I can't. And I was like excited because I went, you see that? And it was like, yeah, I see that. You can't do anything about it. And I went, no. I said, if in my mind, I'm going, if it isn't that I won't do it. I mean, if it was just that I won't do it, you could make me do it. You know where all the buttons are. You could scare me into doing it. And it's like the ego's going, yeah, it's like not even looking at me. It's going like, yeah, you can't do it. And then it turns to me, it kind of like, it puts its head down, actually puts its head down like a sigh, and it says, what's going to happen to us? And I looked at it, and I put my arm around it at that time. And I said, I don't know, but we're going to be okay. We'll be fine. I'm on point here. And then, I don't know if it was at that time or shortly after that, it asked other things too. It said like, it asked me, it'd say, well, am I going to die? Am I not important? Don't matter anymore? And I said to it surprised me, but I said, oh no, you are important because you exist right now. So I don't know what your purpose is, but you exist, and you matter. And then it said to me, well, then can I still scream and yell at you if I want? Kind of like that. Like if something pops up that says, danger, Will Robinson, danger, Will Robinson. And I said, well, of course you can, because that's what you do. That's what you were made to do. It protected me all through much narrower awareness time. And when I thought I was really under attack, and it had protected me. And I said, yeah, you can do that. But then, of course, I said, and inferred, I said, but you know that I can't do anything about what you say. You know that, right? And it was like the ego went, yeah, I understand that. But I can still do what I do. And I said, oh yeah, you can do that. You can do that. And then then about a year passed. This is all going, more stuff had happened. But a year passed, or two maybe, because I really hadn't given much thought what happened to the ego. And I really want to just kind of finish this story, because what I started to see was that the ego was acting differently with me. It was bringing up things because it lives, it was created and formed in the like the guts, in the visceral guts of where all unconscious belief is stuffed and stored and hidden away. It's all the body. It knows where all the bodies of my thought are buried. It knows all that. That's where it was created, and it was designed to stay there and to protect, like to show me when I was getting into that area, because I was not conscious of it. And it would show me and scare me and say, get busy, Will Robinson, danger, danger. But now it knew that was not its purpose, even though it could do that. But what it was doing was, I saw that it started to bring up these things that I was still unconscious about, and it would bring them up, like, this is how I saw it. They would manifest in the world, and at the same time, the ego would bring them up. I think probably the ego was manifesting them through me. Well, it's all one. I'm talking like they're separate parts, but they're not separate parts. But this part that I created was manifesting it out there, and then it was like it was saying, did you know that you still have a fear about this? Or do you know you're holding your breath now around this? That this is, can you see how this bothers you? And at first I'd go, oh God, like, why did you bring that up? And then I'd go, oh, yeah, because the thing was, I had to look at it, because I had no juice it's literally still, I couldn't do anything about it because I had no faith in doing anything about it. None, no faith at all. I didn't. When that happened, that was done. I didn't have faith that should is out of my vocabulary. Other than maybe I might see someone saying, are you telling me I should, or are you saying you should? I guess that's what I'm hearing. But should for me is like, no, that's a concept just doesn't hold any water at all wrapped up in time and futurizing and repairing the past. And I don't even believe in, I don't know that I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing anyway. So forget that. But it was bringing this stuff up and showing it to me like a little kid. And it would say like, did you know you have this in you, that's there? And I'd go react, and then I'd go, oh yeah. And then I would, in a way, I'd thank it and say, well, thanks for showing me that. It was almost like my ego would say, well, yeah, because I know I have faith in you. I know you know how to deal with this now. I gave up, forcing you to try to deal with this way, but I can show it to you. And it'd be like a little kid, like looking at me going like, I did good, didn't I? And I go, oh, you did great. You did great. You brought it right up to me. Thank you. Thank you. And that's how my relationship is with my ego right now. Just like that. It's my friend. It knows everything and it works with me. It's like it became retasked by truth. So the idea of like fighting it, I mean, that's the other thing. You try to fight an ego? Oh, forget it. I mean, that's the one thing I really learned about dealing with the ego right away was, if you want to work with the ego, you gotta first of all hear it, and you have to promise that you're not going to try to move the furniture, because otherwise it's just gonna fight you tooth and nail, and it's stronger. It's really it's stronger than your will. It is stronger than your will. It's got all this stuff from the past that you've invested in good and bad and necessary and about life, and it comes out as a ferocious, long-standing lion that will growl and defend it to the very end. Unless you just accept it. If you accept it, and I will talk to you about that too, because accepting does a couple things, and that's another whole story. I don't want to really get into that right now, that story, because it's going to take a while for that story, yeah. And I've probably talked a little enough on this one right now too, but I'm still not done with the ego or the thinking, so the next one I'll catch up on that.